So thanks so much for joining me today as I talk about how to build a bridge to heaven, as I've done with my husband, Alan, who passed away about a year ago. This is August 29th when we're recording this. Alan passed on August 6th of 2020, just when COVID was starting to really take over the world. So I wasn't prepared for him coming back, but he did. And we're recording this video just to give you an introduction really briefly in my journey with Alan, like how it started. But more importantly, I want to give you some practical tips of how you could begin to have the same journey. Now, I can't say to you that you'll take what I'm giving you today and run with it and you'll be off to the races. Because as you'll hear me explain, this is a journey that takes time and patience, and it's going to vary with each person. And I'll go into that a bit more. But first, let me just share about my story, and I'm really trying to keep it tight because some of you are familiar with it, some of you totally don't know anything about it, and that's fine. Basically, Alan was a psychic medium for the 34 years or so that I knew him, and we were married and he lived here in Hawaii. We were together for 30 years, but he was doing readings before I met him. And when he passed away from the results of dementia, an accident that caused his death, he fell and broke a hip. And when he passed away, I wasn't prepared for him reaching out to me from the other side at all. We hadn't talked about it. I do believe, of course, I did believe then, do believe now that we do cross over and nobody dies. And I know that I've had contact with the other side, but I didn't think about it for my husband. And so I wasn't close to it. I wasn't thinking it was happening. I just didn't know what was happening. He immediately came back. He made himself known to my friend, Swati, and another friend who was messaging me during the time. They're both mediums. And they were telling me what he was doing. They were telling me that he returned the next day, that he looked youthful, that he looked like he was in his 40s instead of the 83 years of age that he was when he passed, which he's really happy about. And then really what astonished me was they said, he's saying that he's not done, that you're not done, that he's coming back to be with you again and to continue to work with you, and that you're just beginning your relationship in a sense. Okay, so I didn't understand what that meant, like how does that work? And I would soon find out as Alan started to come through. So I am a trained channel. I've been channeling for 33 years, and it's really easy for me to write, bring through messages from my guides. So when Alan came through, a lot of it was through writing. It still is through writing. He does talk to me, but it was through writing initially that he came through. And I just started writing, like from that first, a day after he died. And he just had things to say. He just wanted to know different. He wanted to tell me he was here. He wanted me to understand what this was about, what we were doing. And that just kept going. And I thought, okay, that's fine. I understand that you've come back. But what I wasn't prepared for was he started to appear to other people, and it was doing healings on people. Some of these people were people I knew, like a student of mine. Another person was a member of my Facebook group, and they both said how he showed up. They knew what he looked like. He was giving them healing. He was all over the place. And I asked my friends, what's going on? And they said, well, you need to understand who your husband really is, who he always was. And I said, well, what is that? And I said, well, he is an archangel, that there are people now in a body that are archangels and angels. We're everything, really. And I was to think of it more like an archangel is a job description, not a highly evolved, elevated angel above all the other ones. Okay. And I thought about that and I thought, all right, that feels right. That makes sense. We're not, limited to who we are, because I believe we're God, like everyone's God, you're everything. You can be everything. He's saying you are everything. You just don't remember that you're everything. And so I just had to sit back and go, all right, let me just see what happens, because this is what I'm told. but things kept playing out. He just kept playing. He kept saying, well, let's do readings together. So we started doing readings together. I didn't know how that would happen. I didn't really like doing readings. Now, people ask me a question and he comes in and he just answers the question to me. And all these things were happening, people being helped. He was showing up and doing healings for people. And I couldn't deny that something unexplainable was happening. Okay, I'm still learning about it, actually. But I've come to completely believe in him because he's given me so much evidence of it. And most of all, he's telling me I've changed personally. I look differently. I look younger. I feel younger. I'm happy pretty much all the time. I feel his love. I feel love for all of humanity in a level that I never felt before. I was happy before, but this is something else. It was not an easy journey. That's why I want to explain how to make that connection. But he has taught me that the love of someone on the other side, which is pure and unconditional, has the power to heal us and transform our life. And okay, saying he wants to touch on that really briefly because this is important. We need to understand that those on the other side do have the ability to heal us because we in a body have that ability to heal people. We know that. Many people are very gifted at that. Well, what do you think they are on the other side? Like they leave this world and fully step into everything that they're able to do without restriction or limitation. We'll talk a little bit more about that too. But that's what he showed me, and it started to make sense because I was feeling things I never felt before. I was kind of perceiving things I never perceived before. And while I don't completely see him like 3D, that is actually what he's saying we're heading toward. And I'm going to talk about that later too. That he's saying, he promised me early on, like in February, he said, you're going to be able to see me in 3D. And another psychic confirmed that for me and said, she was the one who told me, he's saying you're going to see him. And I see you seeing him. You're going to see him, but it's a journey to that. So before you get all excited, like, oh, great, I can see my deceased mother or something. Know that this is a spiritual journey, but he's saying it's absolutely possible. It requires us to go through a transformation. That's what it's about. Okay, so that's kind of basically it. We formed the Facebook group because Alan wanted me to have that group to support me and so that I could support others. Like it's a two-way thing. So that group was instrumental in helping me to heal and really cement my relationship with Alan because they were having experience with Alan too. They were starting to get contact with Alan. It was pretty wild. It's still pretty wild. He comes through to people and gives them songs to give me, even new members. I had a member reach out to me and said, yeah, I heard Alan give you songs. I think he just gave me a song for you. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. He's like bothering like new members of our group. And they were like, no, it's really okay. But I just feel, I know it's Alan, I can feel him. And he will use whoever he can who's open to him to come through and make contact with me. And I'm saying this to you because your loved ones can do the same. They're all different in their abilities, but they can do similar things. Okay, and they're probably doing them right now, and you may or may not even know it. So without further ado, I want to jump into my keynote PowerPoint type presentation. So let me show. This is just to keep me on track, so I cover what I want to cover with you. So I've kind of organized it into bullet points. So give me a moment to share my screen. So yes, so we're in building a bridge to heaven. Let me go to the first slide. So first, like I said, I believe this is a journey of transformation. This is just my opinion. And Alan's saying, remember, we're kind of going in uncharted territory because while people have had this kind of experience we're having, for reasons I think that I don't need to explain, a lot of people don't want to share this. It's too out there. But we are finding that people are coming forward and telling us that they are having similar connections to us. Some of them are even more amazing. And there'll be more to come as people start to understand that other people are having this and it's safe for them to share. So we hope that we're kind of starting a movement. And my whole reason to even do this is to help tear down the veil between the two worlds so that I can more easily really connect with Alan. I'm selfish. I will totally admit that. Totally selfish. I want to be able to fully experience my husband in this world and the next. But we're moving there. We're all going to get there. But hold on. So first, know who is our loved one. Okay, they're not the same. They're changed but better. So it's a question of who are they? Because that's what some people say. Like, well, they seem different. Like he wasn't like Alan. Well, he wasn't patient before. Now he's the epitome of patience. He wasn't that understanding or even that sensitive, and now he's completely sensitive and understanding. But yet I could still feel that that was him. Okay, because but we must change to match the elevated being that they become, because they've become more expanded in consciousness. So they're not perfect. He's saying they're not perfect. They still are holding onto their personality so that we can identify them, but they are more expanded in their awareness, and they love us unconditionally. Because how could you not, when you merge to the other side, which is only love, you become the love that you are. So while you may still have your idiosyncrasies, like he can still sometimes be lazy. I've just figured that out. He can still be a little complacent, and I get on his case. We actually get annoyed at him, and he gets his act together, and he says, I'm still learning. I'm still human in that way, but I'm going to get better. Be patient. So, all right, I'm expecting him to be like, just perfect, like do everything perfect. And he goes, it's not like that. I'm still me, but I'm better, but I'm still me. So can you please just be patient? And I said, okay. So since we've gone through that, I understand, and we're in a better place. But I had to change. That's why I'm saying we must change. We have to start to match their vibration, because they're expanded. Again, they're not perfect, but they're more perfected than us. So if we want to have a deeper connection that's beyond just seeing them, okay? Because if you want to just see them, talk to them, you can do that and not go through the change I'm talking about, the change that I went through. But if you want to really feel their love, you really want to, I keep saying merge with your beloved, especially if it's a beloved, right? A partner, spouse. Maybe different if it's a child or a parent. If you really want to merge with them, you have to match them. You have to raise your consciousness, raise your energy, let go of your fears. You have to become unconditional love like they are, because they're giving that to us. They're giving us their unconditional love. We must love ourselves unconditionally and love others unconditionally. They're going to help us do that by pouring their love over us, right? But that love is going to root out any issues or fears we have. So we have to be prepared to release that and be comfortable with that, be comfortable letting our feelings out. That was one thing Alan really had to stress with me, that he had to bring out my emotion, because I was really shut down for so long. And you also have to believe in what you can't see. That's probably, for most people, the hardest part, because I can't see him yet. I see him clairvoyantly in my mind's eye, because he'll project that, or I'll see that. And of course, just like you, it doesn't matter that I'm psychic. I'll go, did I just make that up? But he's constantly saying, no, you're seeing me. He'll say, you're seeing me. That is me. I am over here. I am doing that, right? And that helps considerably. I found that talking to him was more useful than just seeing. That I wanted to hone the communication with him first, so that I would get the connection, because seeing doesn't really give you everything. Just seeing them, you think, I did see him twice, like a translucent form that was a body, head to toe. I saw him twice. He says, and I've seen him a little bit more now too, but it's not, that's not fulfilling. Just to see them isn't enough to fill me up or make me happy. So you also have to trust yourself in this journey. Trust meaning, and trust them. Okay, he's saying actually trusting them is a big part, because if you had any issues with your partner or loved one, you need to heal that. Because how are you going to trust this journey if You're still not sure about them. You still have distrust. You're still resentful. That's why we must forgive ourselves and them. That would raise our vibration so that we can be together, can connect with them. And really, that this is a totally new way of living and loving someone, where you get used to kind of talking to yourself in your head or under your breath or out loud. Like I'm having now constant conversation with Alan, usually, not all the time, but usually, like there's a dialogue going on. It didn't start out that way right away. It worked itself up to that. Again, it's incremental, but now it's like a running commentary. Will he ever be quiet? He goes, no. I tell him to, but I don't want him to stop talking to me. But he's there, and it does feel like I'm talking to myself. It's always going to feel that way, he said. But I know it's not me, because the conversation just flows, and there are things that he says that just surprise me. Like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Oh, okay, right. Or he makes me laugh. Like he tells me something really funny, and I don't know about you, but can you make yourself laugh? Can you tell yourself a joke that you don't know? Have you tried that? I can't do that. So how they have changed, I want to talk about that a bit too. They are the embodiment of unconditional love. Okay, they are that love. They are fully expressing that to us, and they want nothing more but to love us. That's it. Okay, they want us to be happy. They still have their basic personality, like I said, mainly because for us to identify them. Alan's saying, are they their personality? Yes and no. He says that he's always been rather like funny, like he appreciates a good sense of humor. He's known to really like clients whose loved ones on the other side are funny. Like he's been known to say, oh, I'm going to go hang out with your grandfather because he's just really interesting. He's really funny. And I just go, what are you talking about? He says, because those people in heaven, honey, are kind of boring, kind of like in the real world, well, the unreal world, where people aren't, generally they're nice, but they're not necessarily funny or entertaining. He's always been drawn to people that were intelligent, right? Smart, intelligent, and funny. So I thought, well, yeah, that hasn't changed. You really like those people over there. He goes, right. So if I meet somebody like that, I'm going to make a beeline, and I want to get to know them. And they're more alive than we are. Okay, that's one thing he said to me when we came back. He says, most people who are walking on the earth are dead or half dead. Dead to their emotions, dead to their heart, dead to their feelings. They're not being who they really are. He wasn't being who he really was and is. He knows what that's like. He knows what it's like to play it safe, to feel like you have to, keep your cards to yourself, like not reveal anything, to not be a sucker, not be a fool. He was burdened with that. And he says, over there on the other side, they look at us and feel sorry for us and feel that we're the ones that are dead. And a lot of mediums will tell you the same thing, that's what the other side says, that we're the ones who are dead, not them, because you do become fully alive when you cross over. They are completely psychic and have powers. Some of them have greater powers than others, just like some people here are more psychic and more powerful, but everyone is psychic. And everyone, Alan says, here in this world has some sort of gift. But on the other side, they step into all of their gifts without any reservation. They just become who they are. And some of them have left this world maybe a bit early, or when they did leave, to help their loved ones that are still here. I've heard of that many times, that I know a father who left this world a few years earlier because he knew his daughter was going to have cancer. And when she came down with cancer, he came through to her and he helped her heal her cancer, at fourth stage cancer, and she did live. Alan says that happens so many times, that the soul, not the conscious person, the conscious self, the soul of the person decides, all right, this is what's happening. I'm going to leave so that I can help my loved ones here. Alan is saying many, not all, many of the souls who are transitioning right now because of COVID have decided that they'd be a better help to their families on the other side because of the other changes that are coming down, including with COVID, but many other changes. And so they're over there trying to help us, which is why it's maybe even more important that those of us who feel ready to open up to them and receive their help and get the support, get the guidance, because there's so much that they can help us with. So much, like Alan has helped me with. He's helped me with, he says he wants me to share this about how I had to go to the doctor to get prednisone for my asthma, and I never take drugs, don't want to take drugs. He said, don't worry, you take it. I want you to take it. You'll be fine. I'm able to transmute what's not good for you and actually make the prednisone beneficial. So you're not going to get the side effects, and you're actually going to feel great. You're going to be healed. All right, I trusted him, and my friend Swati said, yeah, he told me he was going to do that for you, so I would trust him. He's not going to lie to you. He's an archangel. They can't lie. All right, so I took that, felt great. Had to take it a second time some months later, felt great again. And he said, I can do that. I can change matter. I'm an alchemist. That's what my friends told me too. They said he's like a magician, like an angel alchemist, and he can change things. And he says other souls on their side can do the same thing. Now, we can't guarantee you they're all going to do that for you. He says, because manifestation is a two-way thing. It's not them doing things to us, it's them helping us with what we believe in already. So he's advised me that only to do something if I'm really confident about it, I really believe in it, and then he can support me to just make that happen. But I still have to weigh it, like what do I really believe? Am I really in alignment with this, or am I not? And if I am, then he can support me. But as far as the medication, I knew that he could do that. I had no doubt about it. I knew he could do that. So, and he did. So that's what I mean about they have powers. They know our thoughts. A lot of people ask me, does my loved one know what I'm thinking? Absolutely. They know what you're thinking. They are right there. It's like, not like they have to be there to hear your thoughts. I mean, they'll hear, he says, hear your thoughts across the universe. They know what you're thinking. It doesn't matter where they are. And while we're at it, I didn't put this in my notes here, but they're multidimensional, which means that they can be everywhere. They can be with you. They could be with their parents. They could be with their child. They could be with a friend, because we are all multidimensional beings. We're not confined to this one physical body. For some of you, that's a brand new concept. So, you're going to have to kind of sit with that for a while. But that's what he's shown me, and he's proven to me, because I've heard him be with a whole bunch of different people who relate back to me what he said or what he did for them, and it just goes on. And also he wants me to share that I've been with other people, like I've shown up in somebody's coma, where the person saw me and Alan, and I was there working on them, healing them. And he says that's an example of being multidimensional, that there was another part of me that is always with Alan, always helping with the healings, helping people. And it's always been that way. And it's true for he says it is true for everybody here, like listening to this, watching this. You just may not know it, may not be aware of it. Some of you are aware of it. A lot of you are not aware of it, but you're multidimensional. And so you're having many different experiences at the same time while you're here. And again, some of you are going to have to sit with that. What is it? So we understand, just be open-minded with that. They will never leave us unless we're not interested in maintaining the connection. Some people worry, like, with my loved one going to just move on without me? No, they don't. If we're not interested, meaning that we're not engaging with them, we're not reaching out, we're not talking to them, we're not including them in our life, no, they're going to move on. Doesn't mean they're gone. It just means they're not really present. They're not really trying to engage with us directly. They just step back. But he says they're always he's telling me like a heartbeat away. Like they're always, they're just not right here. Like Alan is right here. Like clairvoyance will see him like right here by me. They're not like right here, but there is no real space in the universe. So don't think like there's some far off place. They're just not as close, not hovering like right here, like Alan is with me. But they always stay, especially a partner or spouse, because once that bond of love is created, it never is broken, and you can't lose them. Now, somebody could love many people in one life. Some people do, right? They get married several times, and they might ask the question, well, if I was married 3 times and I loved, you know, each husband equally, who am I going to be with on the other side? What will happen is you'll be with the person who you still have something unfinished with. There's still something to complete, whoever that is, because the other ones you're complete with, at least for now. So that's generally what that's about. Oh, also, Ellen wants to say that some people have asked, well, what if I want to have another relationship? How would my loved one feel? And he says they would be fine with it. Okay, they'd be fine with it. They want you to be happy. And in fact, there are stories of people whose house is on the other side found them a partner, like arranged like a meetup, if you will, and brought somebody into their life. Okay, that can happen. I did a reading for someone where I said that the husband on the other side said that you're going to meet someone. I'm going to help you meet this person. It's up to you if you want to get married, but I want you to have another relationship, right? And she eventually did. So they can do that. So it's not like you have to have this relationship again if you don't feel called to. It's an individual choice. Alan actually, at one point, because I was really upset about things, he said, would it be better if for you if I left? Like, I love you so much, I would be devastated and brokenhearted, but I just want you to be happy. So if this is too hard, you know, I'll pull back and I'll help you find somebody else. And I said, no, that's not what I want. He said, all right, that's not what I want, Pam, but I want you to be happy. That's really what they want. They want us to be happy. He says they know that we're shortly going to be together. So he's not worried about that. That's like a given, a done deal. We're going to be together, Pam, because we are twin souls in our cases, and we're not finished. We left things unfinished. But if you can't bear being without someone and you need a partner in a body, I will support that, even if it breaks my heart. And I said, no, that's not what I want. And that was something I had to move through. And he's saying, yeah, it's kind of a goalpost for some people. Like, are you ready to let that go? I will tell you that once you feel the love they have for you, the whole idea of needing somebody in a body goes away. I know it sounds hard to believe because you feel like I miss being held, or I miss being cuddled or something. They can cuddle you energetically. Trust me. You don't need a body for that. You really don't need a body. They want us to forgive them, like I said, and they only want us to be happy. Truly, that's all they want. They need our forgiveness because many of them know that when they left, they did hurt us. They did, you know, they just feel remorse for things. And so it's not like they're up there with no problems in the world, not caring about what they had done or not done to us. No, that still weighs on them. And I know it sounds strange because we've been told that they're all like happy up there, and they are by and large, absolutely. But how can there be a real heaven for them if we're still here? That's what Alan said to me, and what other souls have said to their loved ones here. Basically the same message. There is no heaven without you in it. That is the definition of heaven. So I'm here with everything I ever want, but you're not here. Why would I want to be without you? So I'll be in 2 places. I'll be in heaven and I'll be with you. And that's what Alan does. He's in those 2 places. My journey with Alan so far. Okay, like I said, I had to come fully alive. That's the first thing he said. He said, Pam, you're actually half dead. You need to come alive if we're going to connect. And I said, well, how do you do that? And he started to blast me with love. He started to bring through songs to me to waken me up. And I was never that much a music person, aside from when I was younger. And neither was he, actually. But he started putting songs in my head. He started sending me songs directly to me, to other people who gave me the songs. And when I'd get the song, I would feel this energy come in. I'd feel his love come in. And I knew it wasn't just an ordinary song. So I started to keep a playlist in my group. Right now we have I don't know, maybe close to probably at least 170 songs on our playlist, Supernatural playlist. And I recommend people join our group if they want some music suggestions to go check out that playlist or make their own. But the music played a big role in opening my heart to him and healing me, because he had me cry and get emotional, almost like, it's so funny, it's almost like I was taking an acting class and had to get all into the emotion and cry and just let it all out, and then it'd be gone. Then I'd be happy. What is going on? I feel like I'm crazy. He goes, no, you're letting all the emotion out and you're feeling yourself alive. And the music is a transmission of love from me to you. And it's encoded with different frequencies. So music is really powerful. And it's a way for the other side to bring us back to life, to connect with us. And he's showing me a bridge. We've talked about music being the bridge to heaven, and it is. So please use music, if you're not doing it already, to connect with your loved one on the other side, whoever they are, whether it's a parent, a spouse, child. Look into music. Resentment and my emotional state affected communication. The more I released my resentment, which took time, I would think like, oh, I released all my resentment. I was wrong. There was still more. But it got clearer every time I released my resentment, clearer and clearer and clearer. It took time. Finally, I pretty much released all of it. He says I have. And so I can hear him. All of a sudden, it was like somebody took the cotton out of my ears and go, whoa, because I was already hearing him. But now it was like, he was just talking like quickly. And I said, you're talking to me differently. And he goes, no, you're hearing me differently. You can hear me better now. That's what it is. You were hearing me good before. You're hearing me like 80%, which is good. But now you're hearing me 100%. And you trust it 100%. And you're happy. So you can hear me and feel me in a way that you weren't able to before. And that's going to keep growing. But as I found out, communication is and always will be the most important thing. Because if I can't talk to him, do I have a relationship? Right? If you have somebody in your life, but you never talk to them, but they're there, you see them, right? Maybe you can even touch them if they're in a body, but they don't talk to you. You don't have a relationship. So the communication to me is really the primary thing. Like, can I talk to you? Do I feel heard? Do I really know what you're thinking? And do you have guidance for me, right? Or insight for me? That was so important. And that flowed through from him to me easily because of my writing. And I'm going to explain in a little bit about my recommendation for you to do the same thing. Because feeling Alan's love, really receiving it, just healed and changed me. It's something I wish I could give you an experience of it, but it's almost like this tingling. And last week I said to him, I think it feels to me like being in love, like that flush of excitement, that energy. I said, I feel like every day I'm falling in love. I go, that sounds really corny. And he goes, no, that's what it is. That's what true unconditional love, when you have it, Pam, and I have it, and we have it for others, you have it for yourself. That's what it's like. It's a state of being constantly in love with all of creation. And a person can live that way. It doesn't mean they're never going to cry a tear. It doesn't mean they're going to have a problem. It just means that underneath it all, there's this pulse of love that is just there as the foundation, that you can rely on it, because it is our nature. He says that's what I've tapped into, what he's tapped into, of course, on the other side. But what we can tap into too is feeling this love that is our true essence. And that, of course, had to change me. And it did. So, he helped me develop my clairvoyance, which is not that hard. He mentioned it in a class I taught earlier today, that he was reading the group and saying, wait a minute, 80% of you are already clairvoyant, but many of you don't really get it, because the clairvoyance comes like this, like, whew, like somebody just, move something right past your field of vision. What was that? That's how Alan talks to me. Like I'll say, well, I have the sore shoulder, and he'll flash this image of something in my medicine cabinet would help me. Oh, okay. Like, I'll go use that. It was like that, like really brief. And if I wasn't aware, I would have just missed it. And many of you are having those kind of clairvoyant impressions, but they're so fast that you're not getting it, or you're saying, oh, I'm making it up. The way around that is just to assume that whatever you see, like a flash like that, that's something. You don't have to say, if you don't know what it is, that's fine, but don't discount it. Don't say that's crazy, because that you're pushing it away. Just say to yourself, I don't know what I just saw, but I know I saw something. What was that? And pay attention to what you saw, because it does come really fast. In readings, for me, it comes fast. It could just be, I see a color right in front of my field of vision. I go, what is it with the color purple related to the client? Like, what is that? Or I'll see a baseball cap. What is that? It's just a flash, right? It's not like a 3D, like in a movie where you get to see it, the image, and you know that's a baseball cap. It's like the impression that somebody just pushes it through your field of vision really fast. That's how clairvoyance is. It's very, very fast. But you can develop it by paying attention and owning it and seeing what that is. And he's saying he'll help anybody who's struggling with that. It's really not hard. People are making it to be harder than it is. Also, I see him in my mind's eye, like an image will pop in my mind. Sometimes I'll see him in a hula skirt with one of those coconut bras, and he's strumming ukulele, and I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm just having fun, babe. I go, oh, do you have to put that in my head? Can I? Okay, all right. But he likes to play with that because he knows that I wouldn't make that up myself, because I get annoyed. So that's how you know that, see, it's me, because you wouldn't think of that, would you? I go, no, I wouldn't want to think. I wouldn't want to put that in my head. Right. So I'm putting it in your head, so you know that's me. I go, thanks a lot, but that's what they can do. Okay, this is an incremental journey. I can't stress it enough. Step by step, day by day, you're going to get stronger. You're going to get more connected. They get stronger. They need help on the other side coming through. Alan told me early on when he first came back, he says, I'm going to help people on the other side connect with their loved ones in a body, because not all of them can come through easily. And I just laughed, I said, it must be nuts. Like, how are you going to do that? What are you talking about? He says, just wait, you'll see. So many months later, he suggested I start reading books written by other psychic mediums. Just he said, so you know what I'm telling you is true, because I'd never really read, books by psychic mediums. So I started reading, and sure enough, one psychic said, there are souls on the other side who actually teach the souls there how to come through to the people here in a body, because they don't all know how to project themselves strongly or how to communicate telepathically clearly. Okay, they need to learn that. So when I read that, Alan, I could feel Alan just like jump up and down and go, see, I told you that's what I was talking about. You didn't believe me. I said, all right. I believe you now. Okay. And I remember mentioning that in our Facebook group, and I know somebody posted, well, that's great. I'm going to have my loved one in heaven sign up for Alan's class. And he was going, yay, I got another sign up for my class. But that's what he's doing. So he's helping them come through, and he says they are coming through more strongly. They don't all have the equal ability to project themselves. It depends the state they were in when they transition. Some people are just weaker. You have to have a strong energy. He had a really strong energy, and other people do too. Souls do on the other side, but not all of them. So they need to raise their energy, like get it more focused, or some of them are just confused, like, how do I do this? Like, so he teaches them. And there are actually a lot of classes over there. Like, they have classes on the other side teaching them how to move objects, because that's not something they all learn right away or know how to do just crossing over. Kind of like in the movie Ghost, where Patrick Swayze's character has to learn how to move move things and all that. He says, yeah, it's like that. Some people are really good at it from the get-go. Other souls, they have to practice. But I've seen souls over there actually taking a class that was pretty trippy. So he says there are classes for everything, really, on the other side. But that's why this journey gets better and better as they get stronger on the other side. We get stronger, we get clearer. right? We open up more, we get happier. It just takes time. And he says it has to take time because we're in a body. Our bodies have to integrate to these changes, and it can be hard on us. There's a physical impact because our bodies are so dense. So it's going to take time. But what else do you have to do if you're here in a body? Okay, so how to begin to connect. One way for me that really helped was writing, like journaling. Keep a journal. I would say keep a digital journal online or on paper too, whatever works for you. And every day talk to your loved one, ask them a question, write their answer. They will come through to you. Alan says, don't worry whether you think you're making it up or not. In time, they're going to come through more easily. You're going to feel a rhythm with them. You're going to develop a flow with them. He says anybody can do this. Okay, really anybody. This is a powerful way to make contact. Our good friend Sandy Rebo, whose husband Daniel, we were all friends, and Alan helped Daniel come through to Sandy, and she began journaling, writing to Daniel, and was amazed when she could feel him answering her questions, and it kept going and going, and now she feels him all the time. He's just there living with her, like Alan's living with me. And she knows that's him, and he's helped her. She's had dreams of him coming through her and healing somebody. This is real, okay, and it's amazing. So start with journaling. Everybody can do that. Okay, that is really simple. Let go of your disbelief about it. Just have fun with it. Just say, I'm just going to see where this goes. And if you have a picture of your loved one, have it in front of you. Feel them, connect with them. Trust me, they're there. They're not going to be there. Okay, they'll be right there. It's just us that have to just surrender to this and just have fun with it and dive into it. And in time, you'll prove it to yourself. You need to meditate. Alan says, don't make it a big deal. Everybody has 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes to quiet your mind, to be open to listening to the other side. 5 minutes. You can do more, do more. Just at least do 5 minutes. Call in help from your loved one. You can call in help from Alan. He's helped people learn to meditate. He can help you too, but just do 5 minutes. Baby steps here, baby steps, okay? But you do need to quiet your mind to hear them. Again, use the music to connect with them. Create your own playlist. Ask your loved one to come through to you. They will let you know if they love that song. They'll probably even send you songs. Like if a song keeps popping up on your radio, or let's say, a lot of us have like Alexa, right? Or have Echo and you have music playing. When you have like random songs set to random songs playing, we'll see what songs pop up. And if you get some energy that comes in, you feel goosebumps, or you feel your heart opens up, that's their signal to you that, hey, this song is a message for you. Songs are a powerful way for them to actually give us literally the message that are in the lyrics, like read the lyrics, but also the music itself, the song itself. But the lyrics hold their message. So open to that, okay, because the more you do that, those first 3 things, and the rest of them I'm going to share, you're bringing them into the earth plane. You're stating by doing this that you're here, you're real, I'm connecting with you. And that's how you're going to manifest, really experiencing them. If you just sit there and do nothing, he says nothing's going to happen. They'll still be there, but you're not going to have the visceral experience that you can have. Practice telepathy. Have a conversation in your mind. That takes a little practice for some people, but you can have this dialogue going on in your mind if you suspend disbelief that it's happening. It's really hard to talk to yourself, have a whole conversation. Try it. Try talking to yourself, having a conversation with yourself that's coherent, that has a point, that is comprehensive for like 5 minutes. I've asked my students to do that, and most of them go, I can't do that. That's a lot of work. Like, I don't know, what am I going to say to myself? It's hard. Kind of like writing, right? Like some writers, they have to be in the flow and then everything just comes. Others, they feel like, I don't know what I'm going to write. I'm sitting here, nothing's coming. You're either in the flow or you're not. You can't really conjure this up. And that's why I think all creative people are actually tapped into source, and they're just channeling this higher energy, this higher wisdom, this higher truth. Well, but practice telepathy, have a conversation in your mind, keep talking to them and listening. Can't just talk, can't just be like you talking. You got to, that's why the meditation is important, that you sit and hear what they're saying and just believe it. In the beginning, just believe it and it will get better. Speak out loud to them, not just in your mind, but speak out loud. Talk to them like they're right here. Trust me, when I first did this, even though there's nobody in my house, I felt silly, like, yeah, talking to myself. We're just programmed to think, well, if I'm talking to myself, there must be something wrong with me. But just talk to them out loud, although you don't need to because they do hear your thoughts. But there's something about that when you talk out loud, that, again, you're bringing them into this reality. You're saying, you're here, I'm talking to you out loud. You're making them real in your experience, which is really important. And remember, we're building pathways of communication for contact. Okay, your brain has to lay down the railroad tracks, if you will, to this context. Say, okay, I'm connecting with them. I'm connecting with them. This is real. And it gets stronger. It gets stronger for this then to manifest in your reality as something that you know in your heart is real. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. You know that they're here. You know that they're not dead. And you know that you're communicating with them. Okay, you can. I feel Alan every day in a new way. I can feel it it just blows my mind. It's so, okay, it feels deeper now. Like the song will impact me even more deeply. I'll feel the goosebumps he sends me in a more intense way. And I'll say, is this gonna keep getting stronger? Because if it does, I'm not gonna be able to stand up. He says, don't worry, you're gonna be able to handle it. But yeah, it gets stronger and stronger because I'm lifting you up to be stronger. But I have to evolve. I have to kind of reach up to heaven, if you will, and so do you. But the benefit of it is, I can't even begin to explain. He has said to me in the future that people, once they understand this is real, that it's really happening, that people will consider people like us who have a relationship with someone on the other side that's active, that's ongoing, that will be considered, lucky or blessed, because it really is the only perfect love that exists in this world. Because when you're in a body, you can't love someone perfectly. He's saying, well, maybe 1% of the population could. But he goes, it's not possible, because when you're in a body, you're going to have issues, and it's how it's supposed to be. This is not anything wrong with that. It's just how it is. No matter how much in love two people are, they're not going to be able to have this type of love. He said, but someone who's on the other side, who loves someone here, that is possible. And that love from their loved one in heaven can transform the person here, so that now they do have that perfect love. And he says, we're not quite there yet either, really, because I still have to work through a few things, but I've gone through most of it. And so that is what he says will eventually lead me to be able to see him, because I have to kind of be that embodiment of unconditional love too, to raise my vibration and just know that he's here. And then I can see through the veil and I can see him and even feel him. I did hold his hands in a lucid dream. I felt his hands, and he said, you are going to hold my hand. We are going to walk on the beach together. You're already seeing me in your mind's eye. You know that. I said, right, I do. And you feel really deeply, you feel my love. I go, yeah, I do. He said, you're already halfway there. He's told me that several times, because you're so close. Okay, and you'll get there. But you need to just keep opening, you need to keep trusting and just loving and just seeing it, because you have to overcome the mind's conditioning that says this can't be real. What is this? Like, you can't see somebody who's, quote, dead. So I'm overriding the programming. So it just takes time. But he says it's completely possible. He promised me in February that I would see him. He's not changed his tune, even though I said, well, how? And actually, about a few weeks ago, It came through a friend who's a psychic medium who said, Pam, Alan came to me and said, Pam's not practicing seeing me or feeling me. And I want her to do that. But she's so happy, she doesn't feel like she needs to. But I want her to see me. I want her to feel me. And I do. I still want that too. By the way, I'm not. He wasn't completely correct, but I've been happy, so I wasn't on my mind, and I've been busy. So she said to me, he wants you to remember what he told you in February. You are going to see him. You are going to have this amazing relationship with him. You just need to keep practicing. So, okay, honey, I get it. I'll keep practicing. So what it is I imagine like I'm feeling his hair or something, right? Like imagining putting my hands to his hair. And I can actually feel the hair like on my fingers, even though there's no head of hair here, but I'll feel the sensation of it. I'll feel the sensation of his face with maybe the stubble from, his hair on his face or something. I'll feel it. And he says, yeah, that's it. You're feeling me, and you're telling your body, your consciousness that I'm real because you're feeling. So she told me to imagine that was a blind person, and that a blind person would be feeling their environment, right? Feeling the wall, feeling the wall before they got to the wall, because they can feel the energy of the wall before they hit it. So that kind of thing. So that's my assignment, to kind of walk through my house like I'm blind and feeling my way and feeling Alan, his hair, his face, his chin. And I've done that. And this is to keep doing that. So that obviously is a journey itself. I'm not there yet, but he says I will get there. But that is something that we'll share more in not so much in our book. I think our book is going to end with where we're at right now, but it'll be the teaser for the second book that I'm going to write, where we're sharing how to make that contact. And okay, he's saying, lastly, he does want to address really briefly in our book, we talk about supernatural sex. And some people giggle, obviously, like it sounds, seems like a titillating subject, but it's really easy to have that. That's the easiest part of this contact, because they're energy. We're all energy. We're not this dense body, we're energy beings. So of course they can come in and give us almost this orgasmic experience, like you've all seen, if you've seen the movie Cocoon, where the ET woman gives Steve Gutenberg, a celestial orgasm. He says, of course we can do that. That is not a problem. That part is easy. That you have to lean into that experience and say, oh, I'm really having this. But yeah, how many times has Alan come in and he's just made me aroused? Like I go, what is this? Like, where'd this come from? He says, it's me. I'm just landed here. I'm here. I'm loving you. They can do that. And he says he thinks that is a great way to actually give proof, because you can't make that up. You can't out of a sudden, like, make yourself get aroused, like when you're washing the dishes, like he's done to me. And that's how you'll know. So that's really the base gist of it. And in closing, I just want to say that, you're building a bridge to heaven. In time, you'll create new memories with your loved ones. And as you do, your grief will lessen and then disappear. Mine's pretty much disappeared. I only get upset if I do look back to the past and I remember something, and he'll always bring me back and say, yeah, then that's over now, honey. And we're here now. And I'll go, yeah, I know. And he says, it's okay to cry. It's okay for you to cry about it. But I'm crying less and less and focusing more on now. And just know that, grief does ties to the past. So we want to be focused on living with them in the now, because there's no grief here now, only peace, love, and joy. But it does unfold and get better, because for this is the love that has no end. Okay, so that's my basic presentation. We're going to